Through our continued investigation, potential suspect Joseph Bragg was developed. From the information received, we believe that Brindley was a victim of a stranger abduction. Through investigative techniques, we developed a general location of the suspect and potential vehicles involved. One of the vehicles was identified as a white Dodge Ram pickup. A COPS alert was issued coordinating with law enforcement agencies in Albert Lea. Investigators were working to pinpoint the exact location of the suspect. The decision at that time was to not send the Amber Alert out in fear that the suspect would be notified. The Amber Alert was issued after law enforcement agencies were in a position to close in on the suspect. Shortly before 1 a.m., we were notified that the white Dodge pickup was located and that the suspect was taken into custody without incident, and Brindley was located safe. Brindley was taken to the hospital for evaluation. I want to thank the numerous law enforcement and first responders from local, state, and federal that assisted in this investigation. We estimate around 200 law enforcement officers and fire personnel assisted in some way last night. We'll provide you with all the agencies involved at a later time. There's too many to list. I also want to thank the community. Estimated 700 volunteers came out in the sub-zero temperatures to assist in trying to locate Brindley. With all that assistance and the assistance of all of our partners and the diligent work by the investigators, I don't believe that we would have came up with this outcome. At this time, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Can you talk about how the suspect in this case targeted her, or do you know the family? Can you elaborate on that at all?
The only thing that I can tell you that there was a social media tie. And that's still kind of an active part of the investigation, so we don't really want to go into further detail on that.
So then, there's, Albert Lea put out something that this black car may have been, I know that the black car's not involved, but did this white pickup truck follow the bus? Was she being followed until she got off of the bus?
There was a black vehicle that was on video that was driving behind the bus. That was probably where some of that information initially came. I don't have any information to say that the white pickup truck was following the bus in any way at this time.
We're seeing mothers say that he was reaching out to them on Facebook groups, posing as a nanny. Do you know if there were other kids that he had attempt to take, or was he working as a nanny? Is there any information you can provide?
What I can tell you is, as I said in the beginning, pretty still involved in this investigation. That's a piece of it that I don't think we can talk about at this point right now.
Do you know what he said to her to get her in the vehicle, or is there anything you can tell parents, a conversation to have with their kids tonight, to remind them about stranger danger, anything like that?
So to the first part of your question, no, I don't know that anything was said in that regard. What I can tell you is obviously we tell parents to monitor the social media use by their children, especially young children. There's just way too much access by people that would want to do harm. So you have to know what your children are doing on social media.
You had 700 volunteers turn out to search, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you talk about just that response and where were people searching exactly?
Well, so when the initial Facebook post got put out, I believe it was by Zimmerman Fire's Facebook page, and this is the kind of community that comes to help in these types of situations. And we've had times in the past where children were lost. People come out of every area to help out. They were concerned about the safety of her. It took us a little bit of time to coordinate and get them in a position where we could use them effectively. So that took a little bit of time, but people just want to help, and we appreciate that.
Have you talked to the family? Anybody here about how they're doing today, or?
I have not talked to the family yet, no.
Is this individual on any law enforcement agency's radar? Was he have a record? Did they worry about him or have any run-ins with him in the past?
I can't answer that right now.
Was Brindley injured at all? Had anything happen to her?
She was located safe, and that's all that I know at this point, so. With me, I just want to introduce Drew Evans with the BCA. He's got a couple things to say as well.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Drew Evans. I'm the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And, before I just share a couple things, I did, as the commander had asked that question, there's no significant criminal history with this individual other than maybe some minor court actions related to him. But you'll get a lot more on that as you go forward. I want to just say a couple things. One, as it was alluded to, how the family's doing. This is every family's worst nightmare. To lose your child, whether they wander off in the terribly cold temperatures that we have in Minnesota, or in a case like this, that they were taken by somebody then away and that abducted a child, and having everybody come together to find that child. I want to commend the law enforcement and the community here. This is the resolve, as was, the commander noted, that the community comes together. It's clear in this community how quickly everybody scrambled together to have 700 volunteers, 200 law enforcement to drop what they're doing. I certainly don't know the staffing in this county, but there certainly is not 200 people on duty at any given time. That shows the response that came here, in addition to the other state, local, and federal partners that always scramble when we have a missing child. In this case, as was noted, there was a lot going on trying to determine if this child was missing, which happens every day across our state, or they were abducted. And as you can see, this team honed in on this, and this frankly evil individual that took this child in this situation. We will be working together and giving you all the information as we can moving forward, as the county attorney prepares a case against this individual to ensure they're held accountable. But we want to make sure that everybody across Minnesota continues to do just what we saw in this community today. When a child goes missing, we come together, we work together, and we look to determine, are they missing, they need to be found because they're lost, or something worse might have happened, and this is unfortunately the worst case scenario. I just want to highlight one more thing before we turn over to the county attorney, and I'm sure we'd be happy to answer questions. I would too, on any aspects of this. One of the things, I completely agree with monitoring social media and knowing what your children are up to, but the continual message before we had phones, before we had anything, that to talk to your kids, if it is an individual that approaches them, unless you specifically as a parent tell them that it is an individual with that individual's picking them up, your child should not go with that person. And we need to tell all of our kids, it's a good reminder at this point in time. Luckily, we have a child that's alive today, do the great work of everybody up here today, but we want to also make sure we're reinforcing that with our children, unless the parent specifically is the one telling them to go with that person, that they do not get in a vehicle with that person. And with that, we'll turn it over to the county attorney for some remarks, if that works.
Good morning. I have very few comments, as this is, as the commander pointed out, an active investigation. What I will say, I will echo the comments that have already been made here this morning, expressing the deep gratitude that I have on behalf of myself, the community, the Sherburne County Attorney's Office, for all of the work of the law enforcement community. And all of the agencies involved, the men and women who are before you here today, and those that we know were out and continue to be out and working hard on this matter. We are so thankful for their efforts in bringing this young child home to her family. Our office will be reviewing the information as it comes in, and we will do that as it's received and working diligently in that regard. Any criminal complaint that will be issued will be publicly available. But at this point, this is very early on, so there's not much that, from our perspective, I will be able to answer for you. But I did want to echo again and just commend the work of this law enforcement community in Sherburne County and throughout the state. We are very fortunate to have that. And I also echo the sentiments and think they bear repeating, not only about those efforts, but also what's been made about the safety of our children and the need to protect them, be aware, and hope that we all embrace our loved ones today. Thank you.
Can you just confirm, sorry, one more time, is it your belief, as we stand here this morning, that there was no previous contact between your suspect and this girl?
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about the locations? So the child was abducted in Zimmerman and found with him in Albert Lee, and then is this gentleman from Maple Grove area that we were here? And what can you tell me about the locations?
Correct. Abducted in city of Zimmerman, located in Albert Lee. in regards to where he resided, I think Maple Grove was a prior address. I don't have any other information than that.
And she was found in this truck with him?
Correct.